July! This video is a Moto Academy post. Enjoy! Anna, I want the badge! Hello! Welcome to part 4 of the July challenge. This time I decided to do it slightly different, so I called it Behind the Scenes for the Moto Academy July challenge. So it is a number 4 of this whole series, but it's also a little bit behind the scenes. If you have no idea what the July challenge is, follow the link and I will do the introduction. I hope it is something. Let me have a listen. Kijk hoor, kennen we dat? Follow this link. For those who are familiar with the July challenge, you know a little bit the setup. But this time I think also a little bit around when I create these videos, what's going on. Yeah, we also have an extra camera here in the room. It's just over there, and it's recording a little bit so we can have a different view of the whole situation. Let's have a look. Bye bye. Okay. Okay. After we have been riding, that is where everything starts, I would say, because then it is time to get the footage from the cameras. And I do this by just opening up the side cover and getting the USB-C cable from my floor, as it is lying there always, because I do this so often. And then when you connect, it says, hey, I'm trying to load this thing, so you have to power it up, and it asks me, okay, what do you want to do? And I want to do a file transfer. Okay, there's some magnets here, so I glue it to my PC over there. It's glued in place, and then I'm ready to start doing some file transfers. So what do we need? We need an Explorer. Let's put it so where we can see it. And in this case, I also need a second Explorer where I want to leave the material. Oops, also on the right hand side. And in my case, I kept it simple in my computer. So the SD card number 3, that is currently what is in my camera. So I'm just going to go in there. And in this case, it's a video of today, but it depends on how many videos that I created. Here is the list of things that I need to copy. Now, it goes to videos, almost obvious, I would say. And I organize it per year. So I only have here now 24 because we're still in 24 today. And then I organize it a little bit further. Now, MXO, that is all the motocross stuff. And in this case, we are doing the July challenge still. So that is for this date, the 28th of July. And that was in RIlland, so I create a folder for that. And then quite often, I first just throw it into this folder that I create at that moment. If I feel a little bit more up to it, but most of the time that's a later moment in time, I start looking at the material just from the browser and then have a look what it is. In this case, I know what I have in my camera because it's the talking head for the introduction of this whole video, and so I can just drag and drop it into the folder that I like. But I always say that okay, the file transfer is one thing, and sometimes this is a small file, so it can take, it's very fast, you saw that. But if I have long videos, and you saw that I create videos of 44 minutes, but then the camera is just running for an hour or something, and I have that then even on 2 cameras. I have one next to the track, one on my helmet, and sometimes then that 2 times even, or even a 3rd session that I have a camera on. So yeah, that can take about 10 minutes for all the transfer is done. So when the transfer is done, and what I typically start doing is just clicking the materials and have a look, okay, what is it, and when was it? And for instance, this was session 3, and I focused on the feet, for instance. Yeah, so I just organized that in this way. Of course, it's in Dutch here, but in itself, you can sort of understand. Yeah, and these are the corners, some final talk, some intro talk, session 2, including Emma, session 3 with Emma there. Later on, I will explain what Emma is. And maybe later on I start creating folders like pictures, the talking head, so that is me talking here, for instance. And if I use certain audio tracks, I just also dump them in here. So all information is sort of grouped in one place. So that is where it starts for creating videos. First, organize your materials, yeah, into folders. Well, this is Emma, and on the 28th of July 2024, this was her first day riding on the 125 instead of the 80cc, and he was a little bit shy or not 100% sure, and also her dad was not sure, should we go to the main track or should we still drive on the children track. In fact, if you drive on 125, you're not allowed on the children track. So I said, let's drive together on the big track. Okay, first round. Let's see if we can convince Anna the father to have a trip around the large track. This is my warming up round, so it's good to start slow. What did I forget? My glasses. So this is from a friend here at the track. Ik kan toch wel even achter de raam blijven rijden op de grote ronde. Wil je dat doen? Dan zet ik de film aan, ja, dan kunnen we... Oh! And I had the camera already on, and I pressed that same button again, and then it goes off. Yeah, and then you do not have a recording. Yeah, that also happens as a cameraman, I always say. Sorry, Emma, I do have the second session in video. When this is done, in fact, the next step is going to happen. 1 second, I'm going to move these things around. If I'm not using this material anymore, you can just delete it from the camera, like this, hop. And then also your camera is empty. Will not be the first time that I forget to delete my camera, and that's also not really handy. Most of the time, the next thing is that I start creating a project. Now, in this case, I already created this project. So in this whole project, I created several folders, or bins they are called. And then in this case, this is the 28, I created yet the other bins, and that are also the same folders that I have in my Explorer. I try to keep that as much as possible one-on-one. Okay, and then it's time to start doing something with this material. In this case, I recorded some materials for the introduction. So the first thing what you need to do is make a link between what you have on your disk and in this project. At least that is in Davinci Resolve in this way. And I see that in this Davinci Resolve environment I do not have the talking head bin yet, so I'm going to create a new bin. I call it talking head. Oh, it's over there. And what you need to do is make that link between the folder or the files in that folder and Davinci Resolve, also talking head, sorry. So I transferred 2 videos. Yeah, you already see me appearing. Ooh, it looks a little bit white, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to drag and drop that into that thing. And now the files are available within the project. Now, I already created a timeline. The timeline is over here, behind the scenes for the Moto Academy July challenge, right? And what I want to do is put this at the end. And I like to work with the cut page in that situation, because then I can use my editor, and that makes it easier and quickly getting the material. I will show that a little bit. So this is the source viewer, and in source viewer we can select the different videos that we have. In this case, I think I have only 2 videos from the side camera. What I need to do in this whole story is also add the camera that I have behind me, but I will do that in a later stage. So I first lay down just the introduction video. Yeah. So what I start doing is just jogging through the thing and then listen to the audio. And then at some point, okay, I will just... I think I can immediately start here. So this is my in point. So this is somewhere my out point. I hope that is okay. And then I made a second shot, and I'm going to click on this, and you see me. Ooh, I did the other hand, but okay. Okay, somewhere over here I'm going to make that transition to this video. I think it's a good in point. Those who are familiar with the July challenge, and that's the out point I appended. Now the only thing is maybe what we want to see if the transition is how I want it to be. No, it's a little bit stranger. Nah. Some fine-tuning is needed to get that in place how I want it. Now, you have a little bit of idea how we start with the project. Let's look at the following topic. Stop recording. Let's go. Oh yeah. Okay, we're back in Davinci Resolve, and the first not so funny stuff that we need to do for doing a footage for a corner is combining the footage of two cameras. In theory, it could be very easy, because if there would be a timecode that is synchronous between the two cameras, then you can just say to the program, say, now I almost made the mistake that I was going to do a Davinci Resolve course or something. That is not the purpose, but I want to do show you a little bit what it entails to create a video. So I'm going to cut it up a little bit in pieces. So indeed, what I'm telling here, I created the shot with two cameras. So the first step what we need to do is combine both footage. So that is the starting point indeed. And I always start with the helmet shot, because with the helmet shot I can determine where I enter the track and where I leave the track. So I have a start and an end time. When I have that laid down, let's have a look for a moment. So when that is in place, it's time to overlay the camera footage from the side of the track. Yeah, and we need to manually adjust that to where these two camera images sort of align, so to say. Now let's have a look. And when that alignment is okay, I always want to add a timer on top of the footage, so I can know where the starting point is and where the end point is, and that I can later on get my lap times. So let's add the timer. Okay, and of course, when you're doing this hard work, you also have to drink, beginning and the end. And when there's some moisture back into the body, we start cutting the recording into laps. Yeah, and that is because I need to get my lap time. So that is this activity. The timer is indicating minutes, seconds, and frames. So to calculate that into lap times, I created an Excel file, and I use that for calculating the lap times. So let's first create the Excel. Then I start recording the lap times. Let's have a look. And since I do not use the Excel as presentation, mostly I copy it then into a PowerPoint. Sometimes I do recording directly with the PowerPoint, sometimes I export it. In this case, I exported it as a picture. And then it's time for some more drinking. Yeah. Okay. The next step is that I'm going to cut out the video where I look at the corner, evaluate if both feet are on the pegs. So the next step is I start duplicating this timeline and then cutting it up. Let's have a look how I did that. It turns out that I messed up the synchronization. So I first had to fix the synchronization. You saw that in the beginning. But after that it's okay. Now, for the final view, I want to make it a little bit look nicer, focus a little bit more on the corners, change a little bit the coloring. Let's have a look. And then, yeah, the thing what it is all about is then the evaluation itself. So let's do the evaluation. Yeah, and to wrap it all up, you need always something at the front of your chapter, so you need to add the titles. I did not record it. Okay, and then at the end, the time of this total edit of this edit that I showed you, I started this morning 7 o'clock a.m. and now it's 10:15. So yeah, it's quite some time, you see. So I have to show you, of course, the lap times and also the total time. So the total time for this session was 26 minutes. So it's a decent time, I would say. First 2-3 laps were a little bit slower because I was driving with Emma, of course. And after that I have sort of my normal times again. So a little bit lower than 2.5 minutes in a round. Good practice, AJ. Riding at 50% at least. By the inside corner. Let's do the one-hand drill.
Zag je dat? Ik ging staan.
Waar? Wanneer?
Daarachter en toen bleef ik met mijn voet ergens onder vasthaken.
Okay, motor length and times of the lap. That is for session 3 or corner 17. First rounds I did together with Emma, so a little bit slower, and the rest of the rounds I do again 2 minutes, 30 minutes. Overall time 33 minutes. That was the pause removed, where I turned my camera down. Pretty good. As an extra exercise, I looked at the camera footage with the camera down for session 3. That is 8 laps with a start and an ending somewhere. And I analyzed where I dabbed my foot. You see here below the overview of this timeline. And where there is a red dot, that is where I did a foot dab. And if you think about it, that the track has maybe 8 corners where I would do a foot dab. So 8 times 8 is 64, and I made 6 foot dabs, so that's 10%. I also cut them behind each other, and I included somewhere also a sort of frontal view. It doesn't belong to the exact down view, of course, but you have an idea of the corner. Let's have a look.
Oh, kom maar, ik kan het. Ja, joh, joh. Oh, ja, maar weg.
So, with the helicopter, at the end of the day, dust. We have a beautiful sky. Look, if you want to paint, this is what you want. Huh? How did it go? Not really good. If I look at the footage, 50-50. At some corners, I just want to stick out my leg, and I cannot prevent not doing it. Yeah. Have a look at it, AJ or Mitchell or Grant. See what you think about it. Yeah? The final evaluation. This is a little bit how it feels after looking at so much footage. I did it myself, of course. But I think I learned a lot. Can I ride with 2 feet on the pegs? No, still not. Still, I like to stick out my leg. Yeah, but I do realize that by practicing keeping the feet on the peg, I kept standing much longer into the corner as before. I tend to sit down already in front of the corner, and now by focusing on keeping both legs on the pegs in the corners, I stand much longer into the corner. So that is for me already a big plus, and it means also, especially if you go into a rut, it's easier to take that rut. Yeah? Does it feel fast? No, it does not. Does it really matter in time? Well, of course, in 4 times you cannot change a lot, but every time when I come back from the track, I look at least 1 or 2 corners what I did with my feet. So next time I had again something in my brain, okay, focus on this and that. And I see now, after looking at so many footage, doing all these edits, there's only a few corners, in fact, where I really have problems, where I want to stick out my leg. And I even doubt it if it is maybe so bad to put out the leg. What I also noticed is that if I take it short, and I have a short corner, like, or what can I say, a big angle to take, yeah, in a short amount of space, then I want to use that leg. And also when I'm less confident, so either I'm going to slip because it is flat, or if there is a rut and I'm uncertain about it, I want to stick out the leg. And especially in the case of the rut, that doesn't help you a lot, but that's what I see. The nice thing is that because of this June and July challenge, I start thinking about, so how can I figure out if I do that correctly. And riding with the camera down, I kept on doing that every month afterwards. I just opened up here, for instance, the last ride that I did this year, that is last year, 16th of November, that was my last ride. And my last session I again did with the camera down. Third session, let's look at the feet. And that just gives you a little bit of idea, okay, what am I doing with my feet? Do they stay on? What am I doing when I'm shifting, when I'm braking? Do I go back and forth on the peg? Is my placement okay? Did it bring me speed? No, I don't think so, and especially also not in 1 month. Will it bring speed over time? Well, I do think so, because the cornering in overall, I think, becomes better, and hopefully it will build confidence to go faster in the future. I did like making everything of this. I'm also done with it for a moment. But I learned a lot about making video cuts, making video edits, and hopefully you also learned a little bit in this video about making videos. It's not easy to make videos, so everybody from the Moto Academy who makes these videos, great job. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. It's not that you just do in 5 minutes. Let me hear about what you thought about the video sessions. Oh, by the way, Anna, I want the badge. I want the badge. Ooh.